to see you this afternoon.
Hi, Chris. Good to see you too.
Great, good. Well, why don't you tell us who you are, whereabouts you're from, and what kind of artist are you?
Well, my name is Ramona Patterson. I currently live in Florida, but I'm a Cajun from Louisiana. I lived in Europe for a few years and then up in New Hampshire for 30. And I'm down here in the heat and making all kinds of fun art.
Great. And have you? And how long have you were you doing your art in Europe as well?
A little bit because I was in the military at the time. So I did I took advantage of the craft center and the carpentry shop and things like that. So there were lots of things that the military we had available to us.
Oh, nice, nice. So, what kind of artist would you say you were?
I'm an abstract artist is the type of artist that I am. I make art because I have a need to. It's something that's inside of me, and it's wonderful to be able to sell it, but I am creating it out of a need. It's just an energy within me that I sometimes don't have control of.
Oh, and we've seen that a lot. Well, fantastic. Well, why don't we take a look at a couple of pieces that you've given us this afternoon, and then you can talk us through. So, this was the first piece I picked out. So, why don't you tell me about this piece, and then we'll talk about it.
This is smokestack trees. It's a 16 by 20. I started it out. It is a fluid acrylic. But what I do with my paintings is once they're dry, I put them in a certain location and I look at them. I'll move them around, I'll rotate them and move them around. And with this one, I kept seeing a wisp of smoke coming from that tree on the far right. And it just kind of reminded me of a smokestack. And I really prefer to paint nature and not buildings. And so trees are my big thing. And so I had this desire to create a smokestack tree. So that's what that is. And there is metallic paint in there. So there will be a shimmer as you move that piece back and forth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so you've sort of mixed, even though it's an abstract piece, you've mixed nature and architecture, I guess, for want of a better word.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Fantastic. So, and
Thank
I
you.
found this quite an upbeat piece as well. Actually, it looks when you first look at it, you find the trees are a bit kind of stark and bare, perhaps in the smokestack, but actually the colours are so vibrant. I think that it feels quite upbeat.
And it's interesting because the sky can be so many different things, and, or it looks so many different ways, and to be able to capture the sky in a different way is something that's it's exciting to me. I find it exciting. Like, hey, look what happened, you know.
The sky is an infinite palette, isn't it? Every colour is there.
Yes.
So great. Okay, well that's fantastic. So let's now come to now. I love this piece when I first saw it. I just jumped out like the kind of the just the beauty, but actually the calmness really. If you can imagine being transported to wherever, whether this is inspired by a real place or whether it's just a you want it to be a place where you want to be transported to. I don't know, but that's what I got a sense of calm looking at this.
I dreamed of these colors, the yellow and the red and that blue. And I woke up at 4 in the morning and I painted this painting. And it's a big painting. It fits over my queen bed. So it is something that I get a lot of joy out of. But it's titled Good Morning, but it could be evening. It all depends on how you want to look at it. But I just laid the canvas down and got it soaking wet, and I painted that water right into it so the canvas would allow me to manipulate the paint as I put it on there. So I just like splashed the paint down, and I started with the orange and the yellow, and then I finished off with the blue, and then I took two paintbrushes. I held them in my hands and I bent over and I was swooshing and swooshing and swooshing, and that's how I made the grass, and it was fun. It was a real fun painting to make. And from start to finish, it probably took me half an hour. It was a fast painting. Yeah, it was a fast.
Wow. And I do like I mean, because of course the grass, you've swirled it both ways, and if it was, it doesn't, in nature, it doesn't go both ways. The wind goes one or the other at a moment in time, doesn't it? So that's interesting. You've got them both ways, and it just frames the whole, and also very symmetrical looking actually as well, isn't it? The symmetry on the on the reeds is there to see as well.
I like to make it to where when you're looking at it, you can almost find your spot that you could walk through the grass to see what's on the other side. So, but yeah, I know what you're saying about making the grass move all the same way. But that's the great thing about artistic license and being an abstract artist. You just make it whatever you want it to be.
So yeah, yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, look, it looks and it is abstract, but it gives you that immediate sense of it's a place where you want to be and the beauty in it. And then you look closer and you suddenly see the grass is blowing both ways and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. So,
Thank you. I wish that, oh, excuse me. The painting is actually way more vibrant than the photograph. I just couldn't get the photograph to show how vibrant it is. But that orange and that yellow really does pop.
yeah, it
Oh,
looks amazing, and you can see the depth of because I mean when you've described now how you've actually painted that, the depth is really clear, isn't it? Yeah, the red and yellow have gone on first, and that's the background that you can see in the distance, and then the foreground is the that's gone on second, and that really creates the perspective, really, doesn't it, in the view? So it's fantastic. So great. Okay, why don't we talk a little bit? So you're sat there in your studio. I can see some of your work behind you. I can see your paints and brushes and everything in the corner. So it looks like so talk a little bit about your work environment. Is it you've got your studio there? Are you predominantly working there? Do you go outside for inspiration? How does that work when you're creating pieces?
I am a nature freak. I love nature. I'm out in nature every day. And so I see in Florida, we have this amazing amount of wildlife, birds, and beautiful exotic plants and things like that. So I like to, when I'm out on my ride, I'm like just soaking in the world. And then whenever I get home and I think about different things, I have about 13 paintings in progress because I have so many ideas. And then you have to layer it, different things that you're working on. But I do get my inspiration from nature here. And I love having a live workspace. I used to think that, oh, I needed a giant studio to create big pieces. Hopefully, eventually that will happen. I would love to create some bigger pieces. And working on that. But I just love being able to just walk into that space and into my studio space at any time. At any time I wake up, like I said, that last painting we talked about was a 4 a.m. painting.
So it's always open for you. Yeah, you haven't got to go somewhere else. It's
And I never ever keep my sounds on my phone, even during the day. So my environment is peace. It's a very quiet environment. Sometimes I'll put music on when I'm painting, but mostly different, I'm in a flow state. I'm in a flow state and time can just fly by.
that's a great way to be, really, isn't it? So it's a great insight into the yeah, and how you actually have to switch off the modern world yeah, deliberately, really, to get all those squeaks and notifications that pop out of every bit of machinery that's everywhere.
I really value my peace and I protect it. So protecting my peace is really important to me.
And you can see, and that comes out in your art as well, doesn't it? You can see that the piece is bringing that out.
Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what attracts you to the Artocalypse, and what since you've joined.
Well, I met you a while back, and I met some other people on LinkedIn, and I just when all this the pandemic started and the gallery started closing, because I had made arrangements with someone I had met on LinkedIn. I'm going to give a quick shout out to James Griffin, a local Sarasota artist, and he teaches in this area. So my plan was to this fall, when his next class started, or last fall, was to join his class and learn from him, because he's a great figurative artist. And when the pandemic happened, and the world shut down, because I live kind of a solitary life anyway, I became really incredibly creative. I just was pumping out 3 or 4 paintings a day. And then my daughter came over and said, "What are you going to do with all this stuff, Granny?" You know, because she calls me Granny. What are you going to do with all these? You got to do something with them. And I do sell stuff locally, and I've had some stuff in some galleries here and there, but I do paint for the love of it. But what attracted me to Artocalypse was that you were respectful of the artist, the situation that we were in, because a lot of places, in order to get onto or into their gallery, you have to pay a huge fee, or else give them a huge commission. And you and everyone who's done this has volunteered your time. So my interest in this was the collaboration of the artists, the hub that you created and that you put together. You put together this amazing hub where everyone could talk and collaborate. And for this first time, boy, we really put you through the ringer. I mean, you have stayed up and dealt with all of those of us who are artistic and not and who have issues with technology. So you have been a huge important part of this. I mean, your virtual wedding business is a success, was an instant match when you said, "Hey, this is a great idea." And I'm thinking, it is a great idea. Let's do it. And then everybody started talking, and the energy is just contagious, and in a great way, a positive contagion.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that yeah, that's great, and that's what I love about the community. I mean, we've brought some technology into it, and there's a little bit of stickiness and the way it works. You know, some of it's a bit lumpy, but the idea is just the tech, the platform that we can pull together is just really to enable artists to meet and collaborate in a single space, and that's been a fantastic response from everyone, really.
Well, I personally have benefited from the collaboration with because of you, Kimberly, Ellen Dutton. Is it Hi Evora? Um, and Ian. Ian did work for me that I just, you talking spreadsheet, you might as well be talking Mandarin Chinese to me, you know? And then you personally walked me through how to create my gallery, my slideshow. So it has been a wonderful, positive, very giving and creative experience, something that I didn't think I was going to be able to participate in because of my lack of technology skills. So thank you. Thank you for making it a wonderful experience.
Well, it's great. It really is great to have you in the community. And you are, as I keep saying, you are number one in our community in terms of you're the first person to come through the door. So despite all of that, you broke through the tech first of all and found your way in. So there you go. Great. Okay, so it was been great talking to you this afternoon, Ramona, and I hope to see you soon. Bye now.
Yes, we'll see you October 24th, 25th for the show.
Hello, Jai. Nice to see you this afternoon.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. I'm looking forward to our conversation today. So, why don't you
Yeah.
first of all just tell us your name, where are you from, and what kind of artist are you?
Okay. Cool. So my name is Jai, Jai Evora, and I'm from Harrow, London. So I am an animator. So I specialize in documentary films. I am short documentary films, and I am a recent graduate of University of Westminster this year. I'm also a motion graphic designer. Recently, I've been switching from traditional animation to more of a commercial type, which is the motion graphic design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lovely. So, just for my benefit and perhaps people who are watching as well, what's the difference between a motion graphic artist and a animation artist?
So a motion graphic artist is a type of an animation artist, pretty much. But an animator sort of well, animator is a pretty broad subject, so they do everything. So I would so with my films that I'm about to present today, I'm more of a 2D frame by frame animator.
Okay.
So, which is the difference of emotion. No, the difference the difference between a frame by frame animator and a motion graphic designer is the way of animating. So with the frame by frame is, frame by frame. So you do this with the so before traditional is like a cell sheet. You got this paper and then you draw something on it,
Yeah.
and then you use another paper
Yeah.
to draw something a bit similar but different.
Yeah.
So and then it projects a movement if you flip that. It's like a flip book kind of thing.
Okay.
So a frame by frame animation is that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
digital. So I'm using digital animation,
Yeah.
the version of it. So motion graphic designer is more of a keyframe animating. So I'm using After Effects. So you have these. It's quite easy. So you've got this, for example, a circular shape on your screen. So you want to animate that. You want it to bounce. So you've got these keyframes like below. So you've got this point that it would be on top of the screen, and then you mark another point, which is about 5 seconds after,
Yeah.
and then you want the ball to go on the bottom of the screen. So
So
if
A
you
to B.
play,
Right.
yeah, so if you play that one point to another point, it will go. The ball from the top will go down the bottom.
Right.
So it's kind of like marking where you want the ball to go to.
I
So
see. And it traces
pretty easy.
effectively the intermediate frames then are then
Yes,
generated for you.
yeah,
I
and it
see.
differs as well with the application that you use. So with motion graphic designing, you use After Effects or something of the sort.
Yeah.
And then for the frame by frame, I use Photoshop or some use TV Paint or something
Right.
similar.
So it's like a difference between kind of vector images and pixel images, JPEG images. It's that kind of difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Where you're
yeah,
describing the shape rather than describing each pixel of what's in an image.
yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Perfect. Right. Well, that's fantastic. So that gives so that gives a good segue actually into. So let's have a look at two of the pieces. So you've brought two pieces along today. So we'll
Yes,
have a look at this. So this is your first animation, and this is entitled Diana.
yes, this is called Diana.
This is called Diana. So yeah. So talk me through this. It's a very striking animation when you first started up.
So in a way, it's kind of started because I did this when I was in second, no, when I was in third year of university actually.
Yeah.
Um, but before I wanted it to be perfect, so I kind of held off into creating something like this. So this film is an LGBT themed film.
Yeah.
So and my subject, I interviewed about 4, 5, 6 people just so I could I could work on something perfect.
Yeah.
It's far better to have more things to work with than less kind of thing. So I want this film to to spread in the film industry basically. So I wanted it to be perfect so I could enter it to film festivals. So this film is inspired by this Filipino woman, and she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Um, but her family accepts her, but the family of her partner does not.
Right.
So, and she works in a business within her girlfriend's family. So, in a way, they are pretty close in terms of career, but in terms of like how they get along as a family, it's kind of an awkward situation.
Mm.
So, yeah, this film is about her struggle into getting accepted by the girlfriend's family. And the one thing I like about this is it's in the Philippines. The Philippines is um, has this high tolerance in LGBT people, but they have a very low acceptance to it, and I wanted to kind of portray that in the story. There's a lot of situations where it feels like she's being included, but she's actually not in a way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to explain that in the story.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the
Fantastic.
essence of it.
Fantastic. So this is more than just your you making a statement. I mean, this is a film that actually is going to put a message out there for a bigger, wide audience to interpret
Yes.
and understand, and hopefully make a difference to the world.
Yeah, definitely. This and the next film that
Yeah,
I'm going to show today as well. They're interconnected to each other
they're
as well
connected with that
because of
same
how
message.
it's because of how the brief was designed back then when I was in university. But they're pretty different as well.
Yeah,
But this focuses more on the problem
yeah.
kind of thing. Right.
Okay, great. So that's your first video.
Yeah.
So let's now look at the second video, which you said is related to the first. So tell me about this one.
So going forward is it's kind of the continuity of Diana, but at the same time it's its own film as well. Am I making any sense? Um, yes. So going forward is more focusing on um in the terms of moving forward to the more moving forward to more positive
What
things in life.
once you've gone through the acceptance period of which the first film was talking about, was addressing.
I mean, yes, not necessarily the acceptance because there's still tolerance to it. It's not 100%
Yeah,
accepted, but it's more of the thinking, the mindset of like thinking that, oh, I mean, this is going to pass. Like this is um we're just hoping in the future that
right.
the future LGBT members would be more accepted than we are now. It's more the thinking of like I'm hoping that it would happen in the future,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So and then she was talking about her family, the fact that her family actually accepted her, and her family accepts the girlfriend. So it's the one step ahead.
yeah.
That kind of thing. So this is going forward is all about that. Yeah, and there's a lot of imagery here. Why I chose each and every scene here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. And so these two. So are you planning? You did mention some film festival and things. I think. So how are you planning to promote these films and get them more widely distributed?
Right. So I've sent both films to film festivals back then. So Diana, I've sent it about 8 months ago, and going forward, I've sent it to film festivals about 4 months ago. So Diana has so far has collected 5 film festivals for us.
Right.
So it's really good that it has so far has been accepted to 5, which is one of them is a finalist in Frostbite International Film Festival, which is in Colorado, United
Oh,
States.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one is it's it became a semi-finalist in Eurasia International Film Festival in Moscow, Russia. So that was really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and going forward is one hell of a beast in terms of like film festival because so far it's in the span of 4 months it's gotten 16 film festival laurels, so it's been to 16 film festivals.
Wow.
Um, it's it's won in Košice International Film Festival in Slovakia, so it's won the best second best super short film in Slovakia, and it's also been deemed honorable mention in Lisbon, Portugal, film festival. So that was really good.
That's
And then it's
fantastic.
been yeah, and it's been selected to a lot of countries as well in Europe, especially in Europe, yes, and then in North America as well, in Florida, and then Colorado again, and then New York as well. And then we've here in the UK locally, it's been accepted to London Sunday Super Shorts film festival here in London. And yeah, it's been really good. It's doing so well for short in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
So
that is incredible.
yeah, I'm
I
real
mean,
proud of it.
it's
Real proud of it.
that's
Yeah, I'm
fantastic.
very lucky.
That is that is fantastic. So we're very lucky to have an award-winning animator at the Artocalypse. So we're very happy about that. So we need to send out one of those clips. I don't know if you've got a clip that's ready on that for social media, like a small version of it or something that we can put out.
Yeah,
Because then we could if we get Ellen to put that out, then we can put out a piece about those awards you've just talked about, and let's make a shout out that to our followers. So that's fantastic. And we've also, of course, had Danny as well, who has got his Netflix movie coming out tonight.
that is pretty amazing.
So that's pretty amazing, and that also is very timely in its subject matter as well, in terms of what's going on in the US at the moment. So
Yeah,
so that'll be so I'll be watching that tonight. I think when it comes out. So fantastic.
yeah.
So good. So tell me a little bit about what attracted you to the Artocalypse, and you're very active in the community. So yeah, what is it about the Artocalypse that you like?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Sorry,
Just
yeah,
for a second.
that's okay. So tell me, Jai, what is it that attracts you about the Artocalypse?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's one of the main things that I actually like about this community is how supportive everyone is of everyone else. So I don't know, it's just the fact that there's a lot of artists that's collaborating into making something that I don't know if maybe it has been done before, but it's something that's, foreign that we didn't know they were going to be doing something like this, like maybe a year ago or something.
No.
But a visual art exhibition is quite neat to think about. Like, how would that work? Like, people would think that how would a visual art exhibition work? So it's just the fact that everyone's actually collaborating, working together to make this happen. And that was pretty amazing. And, it's something I want to be part of. And I know I was gone for like a month, but it's I still want to do this.
Yeah, no, and it's been great. I mean, the community has really come together, as you say. We're just 1 week away from the exhibition now. So it's all coming together very nicely.
Yeah.
Still some things to do. And we've got a nice lot of visitors signing up now. So yeah, it's all systems go. And really, exactly as you say, it's because the community have pulled together and created something. If they hadn't done that or existed, then the exhibition wouldn't exist. It's entirely down to the community, really.
I mean, not to mention everyone was very, very talented, as in everyone that's been active anyway.
Yeah,
they are amazing.
Amazing
artists.
There is just an endless array of different talent. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, well, very nice to talk to you this afternoon, Jai. I hope to catch you again soon, and we look forward to seeing your exhibit.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.